Hi everyone, my name is Christine, the money mechanic, and I help you fix your finances. On today's episode of Hot Money Talks, we are going to be discussing about how to get out of debt. Now, I know that many of us deal with debts on a very regular basis. If you're not in debt, glory to God. And debt is simply when you borrow money from a lender and then that makes you a borrower. And you now have to pay back either with or without interest, depending on the terms and conditions of the arrangement. Now, many of us find ourselves getting into debt, not because we intentionally wanted to get into debt, but because of some certain circumstances that may lead us into debt. Now, one thing you must understand before we go into the meat of today's discussion is that debt always has a root cause. And so even if you get into debt and you eventually get out of it, you may find yourself falling back into debt because you have not dealt with the root cause. So the very first thing that you must understand to get out of debt is that you need to identify what the root cause of your constant getting into debt is. So some root causes could be compulsive spending. Others could be peer pressure, the fear of missing out, could be gambling, and it could also be black tax. Now you are in debt. You want to get out of debt. How do you get out of debt? There are different steps that I'll be sharing with you today. And the very first step is to first of all make a list of your debts. So you must know, who do I owe? How much do I owe them? Now this is very important because sometimes we lose track of the actual amount of how much we owe. So you assume that because it was just 500 naira I borrowed from here and 300 naira or 3,000 naira or 50k, it doesn't matter, 20k, 5k. But by the time you add all of this together, you now realize that you are in a whole lot of debt. So the very first thing is to identify how much you owe and who you owe. The second thing is to prioritize your debts. Now, this is arranging your debts in order of which is most important. You now need to identify which one do I need to pay first, which one is more pressing, which one has the highest interest rate on it. Now, a tip that you must understand is that when a debt has a very high interest rate, that means you should deal with that debt first. Now, after doing this, the third thing that you are to do is to come up with a smart plan to pay back your debts. Now, when we say a plan is smart, we're saying that this plan is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Let me give you an example to just make this very easy for you to understand. You borrowed 60,000 naira from Mr. A and you want to pay back this debt in, say, 12 months. Your smart plan could be that you are going to pay back 5,000 naira every month, the equivalent of 12 months. That will give you 60,000 naira. Or you can decide to pay it over 6 months by paying 10,000 naira per month. This plan now gives you something to act on. That is what we call a smart plan. After doing this, the very next thing you need to do is to have a conversation with your lenders. Now, many of us borrow money and we run away from our lenders. Now, you must understand that that is a lack of integrity. After you have come up with your smart plan, you can now have a conversation with your lender and let your lender know, okay, this is my plan. Can we come to a compromise? This is how I intend to pay you back your money. Now, the very final thing is to get rid of your triggers. Now, remember I said that there is always a root cause to debt at the beginning of the video. Now, this is where you need to sit down and identify, why do I keep getting into debt? What are my root causes? What are my triggers? When you identify your triggers, then you are able to now effectively come up with a plan to deal with your debt. Follow these steps that I've shared with you today and you will be out of debt and free in no time. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'm sending you lots of love, light, and a sprinkle of money in between. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more helpful content on how to win with your finances, then like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with someone you love. Peace out.